Welcome to another episode of Meal Prep Monday. I'm your host, Allison Schaaf, and today I'm talking about a passion project of mine that I just don't even know how to relate it to meal prep, but something that it's very near and dear to my heart, and that is miscarriage. And we'll get more into it in the episode. So yeah, let's just dive right in. Before we get into the episode, though, a reminder, these podcast episodes are sponsored by Prep Dish. So if you've not given our time-saving meal plans a try, there are links in the show notes, or you can just text 33777, and you're going to text the word meal prep, all one word, and I'll send you a free week to check it out. Or if you want to do a full 2-week trial and really try all of our different meal plans that we have, check out the archives, all of the things, see if it's a fit, you can head to prepdish.com/MPM. That's short for Meal Prep Monday. I'd suggest starting with our super fast plans. On those plans, it's only an hour of prep time and you get a week's worth of dinners. Okay, with that being said, let's jump into this seemingly off topic subject of miscarriage. So I know it's a very sensitive topic, but one that, unfortunately, I know that many of you listening, if you can't personally relate to it, my guess is you have someone in your life that can relate to it, which is one of the reasons I feel passionate about bringing up on this podcast. So a few years ago, I started another brand website resource called Miscarriage Hope Desk. This came out of, several years of all too personal experience with miscarriage and recurrent loss, which even if you have gone through one miscarriage, my heart goes out to you. It is such, a devastating thing to go through. And unfortunately, and going through that in my kind of journey to build a family, it was something that not only was super isolating and devastating to go through, but I also found a lack of resources in terms of articles and research on what was going on. I didn't realize you could have more than one miscarriage. I mean, I guess in theory I knew that, but I didn't know of anyone. I also couldn't find stories of women who had been through that. And so it just felt like it felt really isolating. I didn't really know what to do. I feel like my doctors only provided so much guidance. A lot of times, the guidance was like, we'll just, try again. And then it would, kept happening. So it was really frustrating and devastating and kind of all of the negative emotions, to be honest. And in going through that, I, seeing that there needed to be more out there. And unfortunately, I know a lot of women struggle with infertility of some type, and there are a lot of resources out there for infertility. I didn't resonate with a lot of those because I was getting pregnant. It wasn't really, I don't know, I didn't feel like I fit into some of the other infertility resources that were out there or communities that were out there. And so that's why I knew that I wanted to create something to help women. So today I am doing this episode just to get the word out there. So if you're listening to this and you know of someone who is struggling with miscarriage and pregnancy loss, I would just encourage you could send them, this episode obviously, but really the place to send them is to Miscarriage Hope Desk directly. And I'll get into kind of the resources that are there. But, that's why I created it, is for the women that are struggling with that and to let them know, like, you're not the only one going through this. There are things you can do to improve your chances. But at the same time, it's just really hard. So I don't want to, overlook that aspect of it. And all of the resources are there. And if you are listening to this, maybe it's kind of right place, right time. I feel like I like to mention it from time to time with Prep Dish because unfortunately, the number is 1 in 4 pregnancies do end in miscarriage. So I know with the audience at Prep Dish, while it's, very different and you're not here for fertility advice by any means, there is just going to be some overlap, right? Like some of you are, in the phase of building a family. And unfortunately, there's going to be some of you where this is going to resonate and this is something you've run into. So about once a year, I'll send out an email in the Prep Dish newsletter. And I don't know that I've done a podcast episode on it. So I thought it would be a good time, being that it's Mother's Day. And just a quick note there, I know with Prep Dish and the podcast and everything, like sometimes we'll put a lot of emphasis on moms and motherhood and all that. And just know that, I know that we're not doing it perfectly, because I know there's people in our audience that, one, maybe aren't moms by choice, but two, maybe are not moms and want to be. And if what we say at Prep Dish or what I say on this podcast or in the newsletter is triggering for you, just know, I don't know, I'm sorry. I don't know. I know that's not the right words to say, but I've been there. And, if you have to decide to like not follow us or something like that, do what's best for you. It's just, when you're giving out messaging to the masses with something like Prep Dish, it can be really tricky to navigate and, speak to a large number of people, knowing that whatever message you give, you're not going to hit just right with everyone. You're going to rub people the wrong way. That's especially true on this podcast. Like I give out these episodes and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just know I'm going to offend people, because there's no way all of you listening, this is going to hit at the right time. But the thing I know even more than that is things that I have to say, there is going to be the right person that the right time where it's like, oh my gosh, this is what I need to hear, exactly what I need to hear in this moment. And that's why I do it, is I know that there's people, with each episode that I might touch in a way that I don't even realize. So I'm hoping with today's episode, that is the case. And again, it may not even be you directly. It may be someone that and this is a case where I am going to ask you to share this episode, not because I want you to say, hey, listen to Prep Dish or listen to this, podcast. It's more, hey, if this is something you're struggling with, there is a resource out there. I've spent so much time, energy, and it's not been something I've created on my own. Miscarriage Hope Desk has been a team effort. I have hired out, I found a lot of experts, people that have given of their time to really create evidence-based resources, just so much out there. I've really put my heart and soul and so much time and money into Miscarriage Hope Desk, and just feel very passionate about getting it out there for the people that need it. So quick overview of what is on there. The thing I'm probably the most proud of are the library articles. Those are very much in depth. They're not fluff pieces. If you have any sort of issue related to miscarriage or interested in an issue like histamine or natural killer cells or blood clotting issues or male factors, we have written articles that really go into depth on what the research says. So that would be a good place to start. We also have stories of hope. Like I said, I feel like I didn't have friends or women in my life that I could relate to. So I'm hopeful with putting out as many stories as possible, you can find one that really resonates with you and can give you hope, because I know in the thick of it, it can be hard to find that. So those stories are both on the website. And then there is also a podcast, the Miscarriage Hope Desk podcast, which are stories of hope and also interviews with experts in the field. Another great place, if you're on social media, there is an Instagram account, which gets a lot of engagement and is a good place to go and connect and, find other women that are struggling. And then we have a Facebook group as well. I'll link all of these things in the show notes. But you're welcome to join the Facebook. There's no charge there. And then our newsletter is a great place, really even to start, because I'll, share those resources in the newsletter. With the newsletter, you do get a free lab checklist. It's a pretty extensive list because I know testing is so important. I think having the information, ruling out things like, is there a structural issue? Is there something going on that's going to keep happening until it's fixed? And if so, get tested early and sometimes often, depending on the test, just to make sure there's nothing kind of obvious that's being missed that might be, once it's fixed, it'll go away. Unfortunately, I know that's not always the case, but, sometimes there is something there. So that checklist is one that you can take to your doctor and just make sure there's nothing that you're missing in terms of testing. So that's when you sign up for a newsletter, you get a free copy of that. And then there's some other programs and such that are offered, but if you sign up for the newsletter and get involved with Miscarriage Hope Desk, you can find out more details on those as well. So that's what I have to share today about Miscarriage Hope Desk. Again, if that's you, my heart goes out to you. If you know someone, I just appreciate you kind of getting them connected and hoping it might be the right resource, the right time for women out there struggling that might need this. So thank you for listening today. I will be back again next week. I do have some future episodes that are coming up that get back into more like very directly related to meal prep and recipes. I have a Costco episode, some things like that, which will be lighter topics. But again, I appreciate you giving me the space to share this today. This is just a topic that's very near and dear to my heart, and I feel very passionate about getting it out there. So thank you for allowing me to break up the typical content for this today.